What's good, family? It is time for the Coaching Corner. This is our weekly Q&A session, and sometimes we have a guest, sometimes we have a coaching client. I love that. You know I love that. Your questions are generally speaking our agenda, but today we have a special treat. That's correct. A special treat. I have got a good friend of mine joining me in the studio. In fact, let me see if I can show you the thumbnail for today's show, and it is Stephanie Garcia. This is where I'm supposed to be hitting the triggers, quack, 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 all those things. I am so excited to have her with us. She is literally coming off of just dropping a new book. There we go. She's just coming off of dropping a new book, and we're excited to be able to share that with you today. And I just want to make sure you guys, level set a little bit. This is the Coaching Corner. Now, I want to say this. Many people look at coaching from different aspects and different avenues. They look at it from sports, right? Sports coaches are definitely a thing. And I want you to keep that same concept in your mind, because a sports coach and a content coach, a video coach, even a business coach or finance coach, even a marriage coach, they serve very similar functions. They just have a different focus, different level of expertise. Well, the guest for today, Stephanie Garcia, is absolutely a coach, at least for me. And if she's a coach for me, guess what? Because I'm all of your coaches. She's kind of your coach by proxy. So we're excited to bring her in today. She just dropped a new book called Influencer Marketing. And we're excited to bring her in today to be able to chat it up with all of us. Now, I just got to say a couple of things, because that's what I do. Your live stream is your digital storefront. You know I'm good for this. Your live stream is your digital storefront. Back in the day, Main Street USA used to have these storefronts on either side, and you would put things in the storefront that you hope would cause people to come into the store and buy, right? And people got a little savvy. They started to put other things in the storefront, right? It's like you could rent space in somebody's storefront in Main Street in your city. You could actually have a little spot in the window, and you could change out the things that were there, because as people passed through that city, they would look and they would see what's in that storefront. It would be your own form of advertising. It'd be your own form of influencer marketing, if you will. And it was so awesome. And what I always like to say to you is that your live stream, yes, your live stream is your digital storefront. There's no better way to go from busy and broke to peaceful and paid than for your ideal customer, your ideal audience member to see you do your thing live. And when they see you do it live, guess what? They don't need the taste test or the ad campaign. You know that little piece of chicken they give you on a toothpick in the mall? They don't need that, because they've seen you do it live, and they're ready to book the business, drastically cutting down on the time it takes for an audience member, a viewer, to go from acquaintance to super fan and loyal, dedicated purchasing follower. And nobody has helped me to do that better than our guest today, even though that's not what she's going to be here to talk about. But I'm excited to bring her in, and that is none other than Stephanie Garcia.
Hello. Hey.
All right. And listen, something I did must have worked properly, because I see YouTube is chiming in, which is absolutely awesome. That means Facebook, and I'm looking at my other platforms. Facebook's here as well. LinkedIn is here as well. And then, of course, we used Restream Pairs today. This is a coaching show, so we want to give you all of the goods, right? The behind the scenes. But we used Restream Pairs today, which means we're actually streaming to Stephanie's channels as well, which is absolutely awesome. And I want to say a huge shout out to anybody that's joining us from those channels as well. Stephanie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing outstanding. I'm having so much fun. Like every time I see the chat blow up and the Ecamm fam come through, I'm like, oh, you guys, you're here. I love it.
Absolutely love it. He says that shirt is crispy today. My wife got this for me. I don't usually wear a button up, but I figured I've got Dignitary on with me today, so let me step up my game a little bit. She was shocked when she saw the shirt too.
No, when I saw you, I was like, you're so colorful. I should have done something. But next time we'll coordinate outfits.
Next time, we'll send selfies. This is what we'll do because these are how we have fun. Let me see here. Florence, thank you so much for being with us today. Florence is saying, hey. She's one of our moderators. She keeps the wheels everything greased and everything running on time. I have, of course, not done my work, Florence, in sending you the links for the book and everything else, but I will do something. I've got Signal on my phone, so I'm gonna probably try and drop you a message here pretty soon. K-Walk Comedy's on the live. Thank you so much. What'd she say? She says, I'm happily on the Stephanie Garcia virtual tour.
It has really been like a virtual tour, hasn't it?
That's
Man,
been awesome.
my gosh. That's cool though. I love it. And K-Walk, am I going to see you at Creator Camp? I hope so.
She's got the picture of Creator Camp there as her profile.
I was like,
she's got to come.
Creator Camp. I remember you.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. Monty Weaver is on the live. Wait. Let's get. Yeah. Monty Weaver is on the live. Got a chance to hang out with him and a couple other creators last week in Chicago at the Shore headquarters. And let me tell you, we signed so many documents. We had to give them a little bit of blood as well. So there's so much that we cannot say. You'd walk into one room and there would somebody be in there with this stern face looking at us like, no cameras. No cameras. I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, what became of that? I saw Doc. Doc was there too, right?
Yes, he was.
I was like, y'all must be having so much fun. I was following your stories, all the things.
It was shenanigans for sure. And we documented what we could. There's no doubt about that. But and we asked like every 5 minutes, can I take a picture of this? Can I take a picture? Can I take a picture of this? I mean, what are they gonna say? They're just gonna say no, right? So
no, you just need the glasses with the camera. And you just like chicka.
No, it's the pint of blood thing that kept me from taking pictures from my glasses. No, but I'm excited to see Monty Weaver on the live with us today. So excited to have you with us. Dr. Bashara Wilson says, hey folks, thank you so much for being here with us, man. We're going to dive right into it today. For those that I hope you are aware, I hope you are familiar. We have, let me see. I guess I didn't bring that part in, did I? This one. This is I'm just going to drop this in here real quick. For those that have heard, maybe you have heard, maybe you didn't. We're doing an updates masterclass, 1 hour this coming Sunday at noon Central Standard Time. That's the Lord's time zone. Yes. That's some shade for you East Coast and West Coast folks. The Lord's time zone is the Central time zone. Noon on the Central time zone. KirkOnNews.live/buy or scan the QR code to go ahead and grab your seat. $45 reserves your seat. But I'll tell you this, if you're in the Workers Warehouse, if you're a part of membership, it's free. So, and guess what? If you break it down, Workers Warehouse membership is about $45 a month. So if you just get Workers Warehouse, then you can get in for free. That's what I would do. But anyway, I want to make sure you guys get a chance to see that, and you can see the upsell piece there for the Workers Warehouse membership if you're interested. But we're going to be going over all the functions and features that StreamYard has released since my last course, and then this will be an update to that course. In fact, you get access to my original StreamYard course when you buy this masterclass ticket. So it's quite the value, and I'm hoping that you'll come and check it out. StreamYard 2024 Updates Masterclass. This is on Sunday, June 2nd at noon in the Lord's time zone, the Central time zone. Okay. Now we're back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, Equip Institute says we were fire on Sunday. Oh, listen, I don't take any credit. That was all Stephanie. Am I pointing the right way? I am. That doesn't always happen. That was all Stephanie. They killed it. Your co-writer, I got a chance to swap emails with him as well. So absolutely phenomenal. I'm excited to see him as well. Raven's Talk with Yolanda is with us today. Thank you so much for being here. She's waving. We want to wave right back at you. Thank you for being with us. And then Jeremy Hubble is here. And I'm thinking this is coming from your channel as well. I love it. We got the cohesion going on here.
Maybe. I love the eCam instructor in the title too. Hey, that's some nice positioning there.
I love it. He says, am I on some kind of super secret back channel? No, you are not, sir. You're just, we're streaming to multiple destinations and you're part of the fun. And we're hoping that we can make sure that stays a thing regardless of where you decide to watch from today. But I just want to say a word of welcome to you. Thank you so much. I should put this eCam instructor. That's dope. I wanted to touch on that too, Stephanie. Man, that's awesome. I like that title. eCam instructor. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right. So Stephanie, let's just talk a little bit as we get ready to kick things off about the book.
Yeah.
Influencer marketing. So we have so many different types of people in the audience, so many different types of creators that join us for the Coaching Corner. They've got multiple different questions. One of the questions I get all the time is, how do I establish myself as a expert with content? And I know you know how to do all of those things, but the book is kind of a slight shift, right? This book is more so from the brand perspective. If I'm reading it correctly, if I'm understanding the blurbs correctly, am I right on that?
Yeah, it's really to help small business owners when they want to start navigating influencer marketing. How should they get started? Why should they even set aside budget for influencer marketing?
Right.
And then from there, what are the next steps to finding the right influencers? Because there are different influencers. Like, for example, you could be an influencer and not a content creator. You could be a content creator without any influence. So it's just kind of like, how do you navigate that? How do you price it out? And there's just a lot to uncover. And rather having you get burned by your first collaboration, let me just walk you through the whole entire thing.
Let's just get you there. Let's just get you right there. All right, cool. I love that. Now somebody is going to be watching today and they're saying, okay, that's pretty dope. And I'm hoping that you see the flip. I'm always trying to teach my audience to really think critically and to kind of turn that thing multiple different angles and see it from different sides. Why would this book be of use and of interest to a creator? Let's say an entrepreneur, coach, author, consultant, somebody who isn't necessarily a brand or doesn't see themselves as a brand. What would you say to that?
Well, I like how you phrased it on Sunday when we were hanging out with DJ Strick, and you basically said, like, if this is the test, right? If this is what brands are looking for and they're judging you as a content creator by that, if I was a content creator, I want the answers to the test. So if I come to the table and I know I'm up against so-and-so content creator and whatnot, I could say, like, okay, that person only makes short form videos, but that person doesn't know how to do a live stream in real life, how to host workshops, how to deliver a course, has never done a keynote. I could package and position myself just like Jeremy in a different way that stands out and come up with a better package that's going to help that small business reach the audience that they want.
So good. I put the link in the chat. I'm also putting it on the screen. I'm going to try and get that message to my moderators. I've got the moderator group open. I'm hoping that you guys can just kind of pepper the chat with that so that people can see where they can go and buy the book. We're not only asking you to go and check out the book, we're also asking you to leave a review, an honest review. We're asking you for an honest review. And what do I mean by an honest review? 5 stars? No. What I mean by an honest review is if there's anything in the book, anything at all in the book that you did not know before reading the book, if there's any resources, like some of the actual PDFs and different workbook type items that she has in there, some of the PDFs, if there's anything in there that you did not have prior to getting the book, then give it a 5 star, right? Because that means the book enlightened you. The book brought you from point A to point B, which is exactly what they were hoping to do with it. So we're excited about that and want to make sure you guys get a chance to grab that book. Equip Institute says already getting takeaways. Help the small business get the most from the engagement with the influencer. I love that.
For sure. Yeah.
My sister from another mister has just joined us. Her name is Eden Liu. I can guarantee anyone reading the book will learn something about how to build better collaborations. There's a lot of ways that we can utilize information of this type, information of this sort, for our own journey as we continue on the path of creating content, but for our own purposes. Everybody's got a why. As a video coach, as somebody who sits in sessions with different creators from all over, everybody's got a why. Some people want to have the 1 million subscriber channel and they want to get recognized at Walmart. That's not me. And that's not most people. But some people are just like, no, I actually just want to use this as a funnel to, bring people into my business. Everybody's got a why. And I think this book has so many different things. Some unadvertised gold is in the book. There is. It's just the truth. You know how I know this? Because I know the person sitting next to me. And it's impossible for you to be in the presence of Stephanie and not learn something. So if she's going to take the time to work with the team and a co-writer to put together a book, It's going to be absolute gold. This I can tell you for an absolute fact. All right. Andrew Moon is here. I've got to put his comment on screen. I am so touched by this. He says, two of my favorite folks. What's good, Kirk?
He's so talented too. I remember him from Leap Into Live, and I was just like, wow, look at you. And so well-versed in business. He has his own personal story too. And honestly, I wouldn't have known that had I not gone to Leap Into Tools and Tactics.
That's so true. I just saw a repurposed video from my session at Leap Into Tools and Tactics. I thought that was absolutely awesome. That's so cool, man. But
he's so good at repurposing. Yeah. So much content. So much you can do with it. I just love how Leap Into Live has evolved over the time frame and the different speakers that we had. And again, that's still building your influence there too, because now you make yourself known for certain things. And when you're a speaker, that is still having influence in telling your story. Because then now I could turn around like, oh my God, have you met Andrew Moon? Like you should know
Andrew Moon. Have you met Stephanie?
Have you met Kirk? Oh my God, is that Kirk?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. This is Stephanie. No. So Stephanie, take a second. I always like to get the backstory. I mean, you're somebody who's been in this space for a long time. For those that have never, I'm certain you've seen something that Stephanie's been on. If you're a member of my channel community, we've had her on this channel multiple times. So she's no stranger to us. But we also know her for being very thorough, for having a methodical, systematic process to the things that she takes on. And so writing a book, talk to us, give us kind of the backstory, give us the impetus, like what, you were sitting somewhere, maybe, you were hanging with the kids. I don't know. You were sitting in the boardroom and somebody asked the dumb question for like the 50th time. And you're like, oh my God, let me write this book. Where did it come from? Was there a lightning strike? Did the heavens open and the sun came through and the light shone down and you were like, oh, book, I need to write a book. How did it happen for you? Talk to us.
Yeah, so I'll take you back through memory lane, and
Please.
Really, I'm a big believer that there are resources and relationships, and you should always build them and maintain them and nurture them.
Love that.
And so when I wrote my first book, I co-authored it with Eric Buto, Amanda Robinson, Mike Alton, and Jen Herman, and it was the ultimate guide to social media marketing. It was our first book with Entrepreneur, and that book was probably back in 2020. Wow. We launched in the middle of the pandemic.
Wow.
And it was like, wow, we're really doing a book in the middle of social media. And so it had been, if that was 2020, now it's 2024. My co-author had reached out to me, Eric Buto, and he's a serial entrepreneur. He's written like over 40 books, right? So he knows the ins and outs of the publishing industry. And he said, Stephanie, I have this opportunity to write another book called The Ultimate Guide to Influencer Marketing. And you were the first person that came to mind. And I was like, thank you so much, because now it gives me a second chance to go through the writing process.
I love it.
Yeah. And it is a process, because even then, I don't know if most people know this, but if you are pitching a book, an idea to a publisher, you do have to put together a proposal. And so I got to learn firsthand, what do you do with a book proposal? What does that mean? And a lot of it, this isn't even written in the book, so this is me talking to you and the rest of the crew. A lot of it was really like, what other books are out there on the market? When were they last published? What are they addressing? What market are they not speaking to at the moment? And what we found is that a lot of the influencer marketing books out there were really for the big, huge brands with the mega $1 million budgets, working with the mega influencers. And no one really gave attention to the nano influencers, the micro or the macros, right? There's a lot of small businesses that can benefit from influencer marketing. I mean, you have so many new social media platforms that would pop up. And so he reached out. Together, we put together the outline, because I was like, I know so many influencers / content creators, however which way you want to call yourselves, but I have a lot of friends that have influence. And so I have friends that have YouTube channels, TikTok shops, all these different things, and I could pull from them as influencers. And then having been on the agency side for like 15 years, actually doing influencer marketing, finding these influencers and building relationships and whatnot, it was a nice way to marry both subjects of, this is the brand side, this is the creator side, and this is for you, the small business owner, on how you can pretty much get a masterclass in influencer marketing without burning a hole in your wallet, right? And then also giving the nano creators, the influencers, a fighting chance against like the big blockster, budgets. Like
Yeah.
if you wanted to work with a brand, how do you build that relationship, that partnership, and just be really strategic with it? And so there's so much that's poured into there. Like oftentimes I'm like, wow, we did this.
Yo, you guys, listen, that is absolutely amazing. I want to actually show let me make it a little bigger. I wish Amazon
to
would
David
show
Hunt
my,
too, who says Stephanie's on there with the repurpose game for sure.
This is true.
Oh yeah.
This is true. I wish Amazon wouldn't show my cart,
What's in your cart, Kirk?
No, it's like all kinds of stuff is in the cart. That's what I don't
You
want.
know what?
Anyway.
Have you ever created like have you ever shared your wish list? Just like, here's my QR code. Hey, if you just want to surprise and delight me because I'm always dropping gems for you, just go buy something in the cart.
That's free game for somebody out there. That is free game. I want to say shout out to Benjamin in Nwangu. What? Am I saying that right? Nwangu. Because you're on LinkedIn and I never get comments from LinkedIn. I'm super excited and I'm getting a comment from LinkedIn today. This is absolutely amazing.
LinkedIn
Shout out to you. Thank you so much
through.
for being with us today, man. I'll say this. Let's go ahead and show this. Will that work? It did.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're both on either side. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Hey, I know.
I turned the wrong way.
Hey, look at that.
It's good to see you over there on the other side of the book. But this is it. This is the book. If I can bring up my smart mouse here, this is the book, y'all. And let's get that turned on. Yeah, this guy right here, influencer marketing. For those that, if you just needed to see it, you needed to lay eyes on it. My moderators have the link. We've put it in the chat. Monty Weaver is actually confirming right now. He says, I've definitely shared my wish list before.
Yeah.
Thanks. He says, but he says, thanks, Stephanie, for the update. Thanks for the reminder that's definitely something clutch to do. We put the book up here for just a second. So much that Stephanie has already shared. I want to ask you, one of the things that we as content creators, as streamers, as coaches, authors, consultants, content entrepreneurs is the category I like to say. There is something really crazy that I try to show people is a recurring theme. That is, whenever I work with anybody, I'm always going to look to target audience, value proposition. I'm always looking at that for their channel, for their content, target audience, value proposition. And I always try to help them to see, as they extrapolate that out into their entrepreneurial journey, that your business should also have a target audience, value proposition. Now, let's see if there's a trifecta. So, for the book, did you have to do a target audience and value proposition? Talk to us.
Absolutely. We targeted small businesses, right?
Nice.
And the value proposition was basically, we're going to give you everything that you need in order to get started. We're going to explain to you the value of investing in influencer marketing, how much budget to set aside for influencer marketing, the tools that you can use to get started with influencer marketing, how to start a conversation with an influencer after you've done your research, how to measure the success of your campaign, how to give feedback to the influencer on whether or not you want to work with them again, right? We've given you tutorials, worksheets, just basically, it really is like a masterclass. And when I look at it, I'm like, this could be a workshop. And you know this about me, right? I could literally take this book and go to an event organizer and say, hey, you know what? I was looking at your agenda for your speakers and it looks like you're targeting small business owners. And I have this book and I would love just to teach a section on this. And they're like, wow, okay. And, and if it's cool with you, I wouldn't mind giving 30 free copies to all of the attendees when they purchase the ticket. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Pause the. Where's my remote? Let me pause the live stream so I can go take my notes. Let me get my note document up because that's a whole cheat code. Wow, the book is its own workshop. It is its own description. It has its own blurb. It's its own title, and a event organizer can literally just take that, drop it on their sheet and say, oh, here's a new keynote And we'll have Stephanie do that one. And away I go with something else, because it's like a whole package in a box. Like, here's the book. I'm going to give away some free copies. Here's the title. That's exactly the audience we're serving at this conference. This is something that we don't have in our current lineup. And that's gold. And this is a microcosm of what you need to be thinking about for your content as well. And in the different ways that your content can take shape and take form, right? Yes, you're doing video, or maybe you're doing live, but then maybe you might do a PDF, maybe you might do a masterclass, maybe you might do a book, maybe you might speak at a conference. And the way that you can format all of those pieces, the way that you can string that line together, have that funnel created so that people can kind of take that customer journey with you. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I love all of it. Andrew Moon is agreeing with me and you as saying that's good. Totally stealing that idea when I get my new book done. Thanks, Stephanie. Listen, that's exactly why I went for my notes, Andrew. So that's so good.
Hey, and Andrew, if you need a virtual launch strategy, friend, do you think I already documented that whole entire process? I'm telling you did. If this is my second book, Andrew Moon, let me tell you, so going back to when we were talking about the book proposal, so we presented the book proposal, and then the publisher had also even asked, well, what's your launch plan? I was like, oh, baby, I got this. Let me show you, right? Because I already had the template, I had the timeline and the dates. I already knew all of my speaking engagements, the shows that I was going to be on. I was like, all right, Kirk is definitely going to be on the virtual launch team. This person, I already had a list of people and why I thought they would be super, super helpful for the launch.
Just that one phrase alone is worth the price of entry. A virtual launch team. That one phrase is worth it. Okay, continue.
And then that was really, I feel like, helped us in getting the book approved and out the door. And I've even had emails from our publisher where they were like, how are you guys doing this? Like, you guys launched on May 7th and you guys are still top selling category for this, and this, and this, and this. And I was like, yeah, man, thanks. Yeah.
Listen, moderators, let's get that comment back in the chat one more time. Cause we got to get the book. Get the book. All right. I'm putting it in there. I know my moderators are putting it in there too. And what's your name? Jeremy, I see your question. She's on a roll, so I didn't really want to, I didn't want to stop her, but I'm going to star your question. I'm coming back to it because I think it's something it's relevant. It's relevant to what we're talking about. And I think we can definitely chime in and weigh in on that conversation. But I just wanted to make sure you knew that we see it. I want to make sure that we kind of dig a little bit deeper on what she's had to do to be able to launch this. I get this question all the time. As I mentioned, I work with a lot of coaches, authors, consultants, and authors, of course, it's in the name, but the coaches and consultants are all considering a book because of what a book gives them, because of some of the doors that books open for them. When you're an author, there's just certain things that happen, and we're constantly looking at what are some great ways that we could use to launch
to leverage your book. Oh man.
So for the book to help you, you can leverage the book, but then how do you launch the book? And I think you just shared some pieces there that is absolute gold. That might be another masterclass, sis. I think
it could be. I know, right? It's
put up the waiting list. I'm going to sign up.
It's actually really quite meta because the book is about influencer marketing, right?
Right.
And I leveraged influencers just like you to help market the book. And so that in and of itself is a case study, right? Well, Stephanie, how did you research the influencers? Well, I wrote it in the book on how I researched them, right? And I followed them and I engaged with them. And it wasn't one of those things where I just reached out to Kirk randomly and said, hey, can you help promote my book? It's like, no, I showed up, I saw him. What you working on? What you doing? What are you? I would stay in touch because I had like my hit list of people of like, these are the people that I want to support because one day I'm going to ask them, hey, can you support me on this?
Absolutely.
And undoubtedly there was one of the virtual launch team members and I said, hey, I'm launching this book. I think you saw it because you saw my stories, right? Pre-marketing in that sense. And I was like, would you be interested in being a part of the virtual launch team? And he's like, Stephanie, say less, consider it done. You make the call. I will respond to the call. And I screenshotted it as like, my gosh, if you are ever launching anything and you're ever thinking like, who should be on my virtual launch team? You always want the people that are hard yes, not the people that are going to drill you and just like, well, what's involved? And it's like, it's like, okay, I got you. Like, I get it. Sometimes there's other priorities and whatnot. But if this is like the one ask, just the one ask, and I'll be
Come
honest, I
on.
don't ask a lot.
She does not.
I
No,
give,
she
I give, I
doesn't.
give,
She
I
does
give,
not, and she does give. And I want to just pause right there to say, to affirm. I love what my moderator Florence just put up, and I put that on screen. Give before getting. BNI, they call it giver's gain. The whole concept is you want to dig the well when you're not thirsty. Oh gosh, I'm gonna leave. Some of you guys are gonna get that tomorrow and wake up in a cold sweat. Like, is that what Kirk was saying? You want to make sure you lay the groundwork. And here's a piece of it. There's the only piece that I'll add is it's got to be genuine. That at no point in time did I or anybody else on the launch team feel like Stephanie was just priming the pump. Nope. The way she has interacted with me, the value she's been able to provide, the insight and perspective, the things she's worked with me on, has been genuine. And so when I got that message on Facebook, I was like, what? Yes, yes. And where do I sign up? And what do I need to do? And yes, and yes, and yes, because absolutely, I want to be part of something that you're going to be doing. So it's twofold. It's not just from the perspective of I know what I've received. It's also from my own perception of you as being somebody who's in, what do they call it? Relentless pursuit of, perfection or greater or better or more. And so I'm like, oh no, anything Stephanie's putting out is going to be absolute gold. So definitely. Andrew Moon says you had me at hello. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Florence also says that that's an absolutely awesome case study as well.
Yeah.
And this is what you will also find in the book. I don't want to give away too much.
It's
are
like
case studies in the book. Yeah.
You could talk the talk and you can walk the walk. And I know eventually some other authors or publishers, because they're already pitching like, hey, Stephanie, you should teach this to other authors. And I could speak from experience of what it's like to prepare a virtual launch team. And not only that though, but also knowing what are their tech levels, because I didn't choose all marketers. Like if you notice, like in our first launch, it was all about like social media marketers. Right. This time I focused on small businesses because I wanted small businesses to give me their perspective on it. Right. And so when I gave them the launch assets, I had to plan for all the things that could go wrong or the different ways that they would derail themselves. So even though you create like an SOP and it's probably second nature for someone like you, and you're like, oh, Ecamm, yeah, I could totally set up a live show. Some people were like, how do I book time with you? I was like, oh, here's the Calendly link or da-da-da. And I found myself teaching them also the marketing side of things, because I would tell people like, you for sure want to join the virtual launch team because you're going to meet some amazing people. And I'm going to be on a virtual world tour. So if you want someone to help you with StreamYard, talk to this man because he's got a masterclass. I haven't touched StreamYard for like 6 months. Yeah. Full disclosure, right? I don't know what's going on. I heard a couple of news press releases, but at least I know what's going on with my virtual launch team. I think that's something that's also important too. It's like, you got to know what's going on in their world too. That's good. And not just be so focused on you. Cause I was like, oh, I totally get it. You're in Leap Into Live. And I hit you up because I was like, hey, I know Leap Into Live just happened. You probably missed this email, but just want to throw it back at you, see if you want to hop in.
I was so glad when I saw that thing. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, and yes. Eden Lou says the launch guide made it so easy for me. And this is, oh my gosh, there's so much here, y'all. There's so much here. Like we could easily do another episode, but we're not. I want to do some Q&A here in just a second. We're gonna have about 4 more minutes before we're gonna open it up for Q&A. But yeah, I see Eden's comment. She's like, the launch guide made it so easy.
And Eden, that idea of creating assets for your influencers is talked about in the book. The way you make it easy for them. Don't make them think.
The success of the launch of the book is a testimony to the fact that you need to get the book. Okay. Yeah. that's the cyclical thing that we're trying to really land on here. Is like, don't miss it. The book there's principles in the book that helped her to launch the book. Okay. Yeah. I see Coins making sense. I've seen you before on the channel. I want to say a word of welcome to you. Thank you so much for being here. We're doing well today. I'm excited that you're with us today, hanging out. Equip Institute says clients usually want to know that you've done the thing, and case studies are a gold mine for showing it. All right, that's your street cred. That's your, the proof is in the pudding. That's like saying, I'm here. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. You just new to me.
I'm not new to
this. That's what you're doing when you give people a case study. That's it. That's the social proof that's baked in. Thank you so much for that comment, Florence. There's so much here. There is so much here. Questions? Yes. My moderators are doing their thing today. I love it. The only thing I had to think about was what to cut down from my experience review draft, because I had a whole thesis written and it needed to be more concise. I resonate with you, Eden. I resonate with you on that one.
I love it. Yeah, the reviews are very detailed too. I love how people chose specific chapters that really resonated with them. Because to me, as a co-author, I was like, okay, great. That's good feedback. Because you and me as content creators are like, maybe that could be a masterclass. Maybe that could be a lead magnet. Maybe that did it, right? And
Absolutely. I was just like, my goodness, that is so good. All right. Let me ask you this. This is my last question. David Hunt is here. I didn't get a chance to shout him out earlier, but David is one of our members of the Ecamm fam, but he's moderator on my channel. I'm a moderator on his. I saw him earlier this morning. He was live doing his thing, and you're killing the game, Doc. I just wanted to say, David, your cameras looked good today. Just FYI. So David says, the thing is, each interview highlights a different aspect of the book, and new insights are revealed. That's why you guys got to make sure you follow the tour.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask questions that Strick didn't ask, and Strick's going to ask
Eden
questions
asks very different questions.
Eden asks different questions too. So you kind of have to follow the tour. I think you were on Tanya's show as well.
I was like, Tanya kicked it off, and then Sue Ann, and then
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely awesome. This is my last question before we open it up for Q&A, and that is simply this: what's something that's unexpected? Like you embarked on this journey. You said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put pen to paper again, right, for my second book. What was something that was unexpected that you either encountered, that you had to overcome, that you learned about yourself this go round that you didn't have to last go round, or just something that was new?
Okay.
Like, wow. Yeah.
Okay, so this is very interesting. So I said to you that in 2020, we had launched the first book, The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing. And the platform that we used for that was a Facebook group. Okay, that was 2020. This time around, I was like, hey, I have the template from 2020. Let's repurpose this for 2024. And what was interesting is that some of the people that I know and love were like, Facebook? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. And some like really good friends were just like, I don't want to be in another Facebook group. And I was like, oh, interesting. Right? Because I had already set things up on Thinkific and but it gave me new insight as to what social media platforms are falling out of favor for virtual launch teams. Yes. If I were to go back and do it, maybe I would have done like a Discord or a Slack, right?
Wow.
There's just like different things that I would pick up on, because now I've seen different Slack communities and how they onboard different mastermind members, and I really like that structure. But there's a different pricing model for it and whatnot. And so I think even for me, if I were to go back to my publisher and say like, hey, I have a proven virtual launch strategy, but I need this platform. Can you cover the cost of it, or just set aside some budget for this so I could do this? That was the part where I was like, oh, okay, I'm learning something new. And this information obviously is never going to die with me, because I'll do my own live stream to talk about this is what I learned. and I'll turn that into content. And side quest, The Ultimate Guide to Social Media Marketing, we're actually already working on the second edition, and Roberto Blake is going to be a part of that.
Yes.
So yeah, that was my first time announcing that live.
Come on.
So we've got him coming through. Yeah, Roberto's so cool. Like, even he's actually featured in the book. I don't think a lot of people had caught that, but he definitely weighed in on what it's like to be a YouTube content creator and what he sees as a content creator in working with brands. Other folks that are in there that are YouTube centric, Owen Video, and he talks about red flags that brands need to pay attention to when working with YouTube content creators. Because YouTube content creators, sometimes they'll say like, this is how many subscribers I have. And he's like, no, you need to ask for this specific graph. And this specific graph will let you know if they're actually going to convert. And I was like, what?
That's awesome. See,
Yeah.
this is the thing that, and this kind of leads us into one of our first questions from Florence, because, so she's asking what was a lesson learned co-writing one co-author versus a group. And one of the things I'm hearing you say, and you can answer the question, of course, but I'm just listening to what you're saying from that previous comment there, that you've collaborated with so many different people to kind of body out different aspects of the book so that you're getting the best of it all. This is kind of like having a live show and, I don't know, bringing like somebody like Stephanie on to come and talk about influencer marketing, not because I can't, but because she's literally written the book, right? So that's so dope that you've incorporated that aspect into the book. But yeah, well, how would you respond to Florence's question here?
Yeah, I'll say, in my experience, so Eric Buteau is my co-author on this, and Eric, like I said, he's a serial author. Like, he knows all the different formats. He's written for Entrepreneur Press. He has also written books with my other co-author, Jen Herman, on the For Dummies series. So Instagram for Dummies, his name is on that book.
That's correct. Right?
And so there are different aspects in working with one co-author and multiple co-authors. So for one is, Eric's superpower is organizing the information in the way that the publishers want it to be, the structure, the call outs, all of that stuff. And he was able to pull from the other books that he's written and add value in that case. And for me, what I got to learn from him was, okay, Stephanie, we need a new case study, right? Because how often, like, we're so used to having our signature talks, and he's like, Stephanie, that case study was from 2021. We need something more recent. And I was like, okay, well, let me go find another one, right?
Wow.
And that was really helpful. And then having co-authors is also really nice, because again, Eric was really great at just like putting these goalposts for us to hit and hit those different milestones. Everyone had their own different perspectives. And not only that though, but having 5 people in all on a virtual launch team of co-authors is very different from having 2 co-authors on a virtual launch team, right? That's a given.
So true.
Because when there was 5 of us, we each had 5 different separate email lists. And Jen had her crew, Amanda had her crew, I had my crew. And so it's this time around, and this is why I'm like so excited, because I'm like, Kirk, Ecamm Fam has come through for me.
Come on.
And I was just like, damn, Katie, Caleb, like everyone, Doc, I was like, yo, you guys like showed up, and it just means the world to me, because in the first launch, when there was 5 of us, you kind of like, it was like for us, right?
Right.
It was for us as a group, as a crew, and I love that. And so going into the second one, between you, me, and the Wi-Fi, I was a little nervous, because I was like, will they show up for me and Eric too? Or does it have to be like that whole thing? It's like,
right.
Yeah. And so just like when David's like, Stephanie, I've seen you on a bunch of stuff. And James Hicks texted me this morning.
Come on.
He's like, sis, I'm seeing you everywhere. I just wanted to say congratulations. And I was like, I got James Hicks on text message. Like, how crazy is that?
That's
right?
crazy
I was
for
like,
sure.
Yo,
that is crazy for sure.
I was like, okay, I feel the love from Ecamm Fam. And like, whatever Katie and the Ecamm Fam ever needs, I will 100% just be like, here we go. Like, ask and you shall receive.
So cool. Listen, so Jeremy Hubble says, we love you, Steph. We love you. We absolutely love that. Jamie, and I couldn't agree with what what Eden is saying right here. She's like, James Hicks is such a great human. And I could not agree with you more. Yo, David Harvey's on the live. I haven't seen you in a little bit, man. I just had to give you a quick shout out. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'll say this. I mean, based on what how you responded to Florence's message there, there's a principle that I learned recently from somebody that I was partnering with on a particular project, limited engagement. And I was trying to get a little bit of a feeler from him, like, okay, how did you come across me? Like, why me? And he said, Kirk, my philosophy isn't so much how, but who. It's not how, but who. If I can figure out, okay, this is what I need done. And yes, I could figure out how to do it, but it might be easier for me to figure out who best knows how to do it. And then I just partner with them. And I was like, oh, that's a game changer. And in that scenario, I was the who, and was able to come in and work with him, and we were able to put together this awesome production. And I think for what I hear you saying, and I could be wrong, so you can correct me, but this was one of those scenarios where it's like, okay, Eric was the who. let's put it all together. And for Eric, Stephanie was the who, right? So you put that together and you have the two sides of the coin that's necessary to really put out a polished product, because you're pulling from both of your expertise and your lived experiences, and it makes for this awesome masterpiece that we all get to engage with now. So that is absolutely awesome.
And I'll say too, like, building off of the who, there were some people like that I feature in the book, like Tyler Anderson, who has always done social media influencer marketing for hospitality and tourism. And I was like, you tell me what it's like to work with influencers on Instagram. And he's like, oh, let me tell you some of the worst stories, the worst pitches. I was like, oh, tell me the worst pitches. Tell me what not to do. Right?
That's the best story right there.
Yeah. He was like, let me tell you where some people mess up on the pitch. And I was like, oh, I'm writing all this down. And then I had Indra, who she does like these epic PR tours where it's like, hey, we are launching a new hotel in Rosarito, Mexico. Would you like to be a part of this PR campaign? And so like, she talks through like how they vet those influencers and all that other stuff. And it's like, how do you get on that list? And she tells you. And I was like, wow. Again, there's so much. And I also talk about like my partnerships with Ecamm, right? Like when I first met Katie, it was never just one thing. And, we've been in cahoots since then.
You've been mad. You've been planning some capers. You've been planning some excursions. Yes. Yeah. And we love them. We absolutely love them. I see David Harvey is chiming in again saying, how come I didn't know you guys were in Chicago? That's on us. But we, as I mentioned earlier in the show, they made us, sign on the dotted line in blood that we would not mention certain things. So I just kind of kept it quiet until we got there. And then everyone was like, oh, I'm putting this in the story. And it was like, okay, well, I guess that's going to happen. But I love this one here from Coins Making Sense says, between you, me, and the Wi-Fi, OMG, that is epic. Thank you for a new response.
I love it.
That is so good. I love that. Monty Weaver, thank you for that. I knew it was a book, but I always mix it up. How, not who, not how. But yes, thank you. Yeah. It is a great read, y'all. It is an absolutely great read. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Alicia Thomas is here. She changed accounts, you see. But she says there's a book about, she says the same thing, Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. That is exactly what Monty was talking about too. So you guys are getting the behind the scenes piece there.
Hey, leaders are readers. And so I love to see that your crew, the Coaching Corner, they are readers.
They are.
That's good.
They are. I love that too. Leaders are readers. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome too. I'm stealing that one as well. Basically anything Stephanie's got, I'll steal. I'll steal.
I got you. I think you and we've had like other live streams before where I was like, oh, you should trademark that.
Yeah,
like literally,
I definitely have the URL Curious Creators Convert. I definitely own that. That's no doubt.
I was like, you better take this now.
There's something magical when Stephanie and Kirk are in the room. I absolutely love it. So, man, but I want to say this, even as, so I haven't seen any other questions come in. I'm going to touch on Jeremy's first question here in just a second, but I want to say this just right here because I have the mic, because, you can't really tell me to shut up. It's my show. I want to say, Stephanie, congratulations. The truth is, man, people don't, I said some of this on Strict Show on Sunday, but people don't recognize when you set that goalpost, there are those moments where you really start to doubt, like, am I going to actually be able to pull this off? Are we going to be able to actually do this? Is anybody going to really want to read this book? Is this going to really have impact? I don't know if I'm doing this right. You start to, really look at the things like, man, I really want this to hit. I know that feeling. I've been there myself. And for you to be on the other side of that, where the book is now available, it's physical, it's in people's hands. They can review it. They can actually share with you how it has impacted them. I'm just saying, congratulations, sis. That's absolutely amazing. And I do not take that for granted. I always tell my folks, man, when you set that goalpost and you arrive there, make sure you have your touchdown dance, choreographed and memorized and ready to go, because it's worth taking the moment to just celebrate right there and say, we did that. And I'm excited for you, sis, because that's absolutely awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I remember I was traveling too, and like Eric got his books first. Like other
Oh
people were getting
gosh.
their books, and I was out of town. And I was like, I haven't even seen it yet. And
Come
so when I
on.
finally saw it and I touched it and I flipped through the pages, I was like, wow. So that's how
Wow.
it actually looks. Because the PDF version is very different from
The
like here,
actual
I just
book.
randomly landed on it and you could fill it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can
Mm-hmm.
Xerox it, whatever you want to do. But I remember showing my baby girl and I was like, baby,
Look at
remember
that.
that book that I've been writing when
Yeah.
you go to bed at night? She's like, yeah. I was like, it's here. Here's my book. She goes, wow, mom, good job.
Good job.
And then she goes, mom, how many books have you written now? And I said, two.
Two.
And I was like, and you can too. She's like, oh, I can't wait. And I was like,
That's
who, not
awesome.
how, because I know who has written children books and I will always reach out to
Ooh,
them and just be like,
that's so
hey, I have a
awesome.
baby girl that wants to write a book too. Yeah.
This is what it's all about. You guys know when I get into my little morning motivation mode, I can't really stop. So I'm not gonna go into it, but I'll just say this. That's what it's all about. When you know that those little eyes are watching, when and they were setting their ceiling based on what they see their parents reach for and strive for and stretch for. Oh, what their parents say no to themselves about becomes their own limitations. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping somebody's hearing what I'm saying out there. I told you I didn't want to get started because if I
What
start, I can't stop. But
have you heard that one quote that your voice eventually evolves into your child's inner voice? So
I've
be
heard that.
mindful of what you say to them.
Be mindful. Oh man, let me write that down. That's going to be another morning motivation. There we go.
Because how often, right, when we think of can I do it, can I not do it, is it really
Yeah.
your voice that you hear in your head, or is it the
Yeah.
voice of your parents or an elder or someone that you looked up
Ooh.
to because you put them on a pedestal? And so when I read that, I was like, oh, be
That's
mindful.
awesome. There's a question that I'm seeing in Restream that I do not see in Ecamm. So I'm going to read it to you. It's from David Hunt. He says, what is the number one feedback you're getting from readers? And he puts in brackets, maybe you answered this already, but I wanted to throw that question to you as we
Yeah.
get ready.
One of my favorites is from Eden, and I think she had said like they mention ROI 49 times in the book or something like some odd number. And she's like, and I appreciate that because when I did influencer marketing campaigns, I didn't know how to measure the success of it. And so to know that Eric and I had mentioned that so many times in the book just shows you how important it is for us to show you a return on your investment when you're working with these influencers.
Wow.
And as a content creator, why it's important for you to show your ROI in working with a small business. Because let's be honest, as a small business, right? 170 times. Okay, 170 times. As a small business, like even the clients that I work with, they're like, Stephanie, do you do this like part-time, or is this something that like you love to do? I was like, this is what I love to do. Because as a small business, he was very much like, because I don't want to just randomly work with someone once. Like, I want a strategic partner. And I was like,
Agreed.
this is what I do,
Agreed.
And I think as a small business and as a content creator, whoever I want to work with, I want to know that they love what it is that they do. And so just knowing that we mentioned it 170 times, I'm like, that's also how important it is for small businesses because they want to thrive. Like most often, like you said, we don't do this for fame, but we do this because we want to build a legacy, my baby girl, right? And I want someone who's going to be ride or die with me. So virtual launch team, I was like, ride or die, let's go. Because it's not just me, it's me and baby girl,
That's it. You gotta have that. That's such a rock solid why right there. That's gold. And Eden, you're phenomenal. I'll just say that. Just you're phenomenal. You gotta have somebody like Eden in your corner. I think this question actually does work well right here, and so I'm gonna bring it up. This is the one from Jeremy where he says, "What's your take on the recent mea culpa we're seeing with creators pushing back against paid/sponsored reviews? Do you think this will help/hurt influencers' credibility?" This is actually, I think, a relevant question based on what we've been talking about today. And then, of course, based on the book, Influencer Marketing. Did I mention you should get the book? I think maybe I may have mentioned you could go on. My moderators have put it in the chat a couple of times. I'd love for you to be able to get that. But yeah, take a stab at that one, Stephanie. What do you think about that?
We dedicate a whole entire chapter about finding the right influencer that aligns with your vision and your values, right? Because when you're an influencer/content creator, if you randomly start talking about a different brand, like we question, right? All of a sudden there's this trust that you're like, wait, why are you doing that? Are you selling out in that sense?
Right.
And
right.
I find that the most successful content creators / influencers are the ones that find brands that they absolutely love. Like I am ride or die Ecamm, right?
Me too.
Like the only time I don't talk about Ecamm is if there's a solution that makes it just easier for me, right? So if I had to manage 20 speakers, I might use something different for that. But that's the only time. Like I'll always say like, here's like a little thing. But if, and I've had other brands try to court me about live streaming, and I was like, no. It's like, what's that, brother?
Yeah, it's such an interesting space. Where gear is concerned, I find I have a lot easier time because the gear that I use is the gear that I use. It's what I like, and so whether I ever had a conversation with Shore or not, this mic would still be here because I was here long before they ever messaged me, and so it makes it very easy for me. But you're so correct. I mean, I think there is a way to navigate what he was chatting about, what his question kind of really refers to, what Jeremy's talking about there.
For sure.
You definitely want some alignment. You want some, I don't know, what I like to call it is life solving, right? I've said that multiple times here before, is I'm really just sharing with you how I solved a problem. And maybe, just maybe, this piece of equipment or this particular piece of software or this product from this brand is part of that solution story. So brands can't necessarily pay to be part of that solution story. And this is what I mean when I say there's a way to find that alignment and make it organic so that you're not having to manufacture that thing. But you're absolutely correct. And as Diana Gladney rightly says, integrity is earned in drops and lost in buckets. So yes.
We need like an Ecamm fam calendar with all our quotes.
Because that one hits hard every single time, and it is so true. Because
say it again. I'm like trying to hold on it. What was it?
No. Integrity is earned in drops, drop, but lost in buckets. You can do one thing and lose all of that, all of your built up integrity and respect and reputation. You can lose all of it with one thing. And so for the creator, there's an onus of, I'm not going to be, I hate to use the term, but I'm not just going to be moving from one brand to the next, to the highest bidder, because I will lose my credibility with my audience. And that credibility isn't just for my ability to sell this product or my ability to recommend. That credibility is for my entire channel.
Yeah.
Right. And so that is a much larger ramification than just, whether or not I'm going to get this brand deal. So I couldn't agree with you more. There's a way to find that alignment.
I'll say one thing too, right? Because sometimes, because we're talking about credibility and audiences, right? I will say there are times when you outgrow an audience.
This is true.
And there are times when you evolve and you might not want to use like the $12 lav mic because you're like, no, look, listen, I have graduated, like I'm not on this lane anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm now focused on like the Shure mics and did it right. But even if your audience is like, yeah, but you always talked about this mic, like, man, I used to rock like an ATR 2100, right?
Yes,
and
yes,
I'll still say, hey, if you're still starting out,
yeah,
go for it. You got a Blue Yeti, go for it, whatever. But eventually, at some point, if you ever want to evolve, this is what I would recommend.
That's it. That's it. I want to say welcome to G Mama. I haven't seen you on the channel in a little bit. Thank you so much for coming through and hanging out with us today. Always appreciate when regulars come through. Jeremy says no Speedos in the Ecamm calendar. That's what caused me to laugh right at the beginning of what you were going to say there. I was like, oh, that visual, just Doc Rock. Okay, let me not scar some. I love you, Doc Rock. Anyway, but he also responded by saying, "Got you, Kirk." I think there's enough there that we can all kind of agree in terms of what we're seeing from that answer. 23 people are on the live right now. My moderators are messaging me privately saying there's 23 people on, but not 23 likes. And so we're just hoping that we can get that up and rolling. But listen, I'll do a trade with you. If you don't want to hit the like button, but you do go over to Amazon and get the book, I'm okay with that. That's a fair trade as far as I'm concerned. So thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with us today. Ian Callender's on the live. This is a good friend of mine. He's actually local here in Huntsville. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today, Ian. He says gems, just gems. Now we got one last question, and then I gotta release. She's on a tour. I gotta release her. Okay?
I was like, I have a conference I need to moderate right now.
Right now, okay. She's got to go. So Just Tornado says, despite the book being packed with content, if readers could only take away one key message, what would you hope that to be? This is a phenomenal question for us to end on. I'll close it out. You can just answer this, and you can leave me to close it out with the audience. Stephanie, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say if you want to increase your impact, your influence, and your income, get this book. It covers everything.
Influence, income, impact, influence, income, impact, influence, income. Get the book. Okay, Stephanie Garcia, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today on the Coaching Corner. This has been phenomenal. I think we're ready to come out of the corner swinging for the opponent's jaw. We've been given the pep talk. Our gloves are tight. We know how to dance around a little bit better now. Coach Stephanie has absolutely gotten us across the line. And I'm excited for what this book is going to do, not just for brands, but for influencers and content creators who don't know that they're brands yet, that need every drop of wisdom that's in this book to not only position themselves for the next deal, but for them to begin to realize like, that launch strategy is me just taking what I know about content creators and leveraging it for myself. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, fam, listen, you're stuck with me for just a few more seconds. Stephanie, thank you so much. I know you're going to run and disconnect, but thank you so much. In her absence, I just want to say to all of you, listen, y'all, I'm such a Stephanie fan. She has helped me immensely in so many different ways. I said this on the stream show on Sunday night when I was putting together the building blocks for becoming a remote producer and offering that as a service. There's some templates and some spreadsheets and some pricing guides that Stephanie had created for showrunner secrets from the set, and it absolutely catapulted me forward. I can't even quantify in dollars and cents how much that information was able to help me in getting my business off the ground and being able to allow me to be self-sustaining as a new entrepreneur in these content streets. And so I always love to hear what she's got going on new whenever we're in the same space, maybe at Social Media Marketing World or at eCamp Creator Camp. I always try to pick her brain and pull her aside for a second because she is a very genuine person, very real, but also just wild experience, just a wealth of experiences that she can draw from to be able to share with you. And I'm certain, I can guarantee you that this book will be exactly that as well. That's why we wanted to make sure we had her on the Coaching Corner. We want to make sure that in this space, we can share with you insight, wisdom, perspective on how we can take your content to the next level. You've seen my moderators placing that same phrase in the chat multiple times today. You want to go to the next level, get the book. Another way that you can also go to the next level is by coming and being a guest on the Coaching Corner. This is the only way that I give a free coaching session. You can get a half-hour free coaching session with me right here on one of these Wednesdays by simply scanning the QR code that's on the screen right now. It's been there for the entire show. If you scan that QR code, it's going to automatically format an email. You just have to hit send, and my team will respond back with the details of how you can get a free coaching session. But I also want to make sure that you get a chance to take advantage of the masterclass. the masterclass, StreamYard 2024 updates masterclass. There's so many updates that have happened since our last masterclass, since our last course, and I've covered many of them on my channel. But in this one space, you're going to be able to see all of them. And, you know, for the person that's asking themselves right now, like, well, if you're only going to go over the updates, then how do I see the stuff prior to the updates? Well, that's a perfect question. And we have you covered, because if you purchase your seat for the masterclass today, you're going to get access to the online course, my StreamYard online course, which is a $50 value if you bought it by itself. And once you have access to the course, you can go through it in preparation for the class on Sunday, June 2nd, Sunday, June 2nd at noon. That's noon in the Central Time Zone. That's the Lord's Time Zone. Want to make sure you guys get a chance to come and hang out with us for the Masterclass, StreamYard 2024 Updates Masterclass. We're going to go over everything, and I want to make sure you get a chance to come through. We were scheduled to do this earlier in the year, and we didn't, and because we didn't sell enough tickets, enough seats, but we've reformatted it now, lowered the price. I'm doing this inside the Workers Warehouse, so you'll actually be able to get a sneak peek into what the Workers Warehouse looks like and decide whether or not you want to stay, you know, hang up your jacket and stay a while, as they say, put your feet up on the ottoman and get comfortable, because we'd love for you to be with us in the Workers Warehouse. But the truth is, regardless of who shows up or who buys tickets, this class will happen because I'm using it as an update, right? So this masterclass will be taken, it'll be edited, and it'll be used as an update to be added to the existing StreamYard course. All right, so we did the StreamYard course some time ago. I'm going to take the content that I record this Sunday, chop it up, clean it up, make it pretty, and put it into the StreamYard course as an update to the course. So the course becomes its own living, breathing thing. You will if you purchase access to the course, you'll always get updates. Keep that in mind. But if you purchase Workers Warehouse membership, you get access to every course that I currently have, all the updates that will be added to those courses, and any new courses that I will add down the line. You also get access to a community of like-minded creators and content entrepreneurs. But you also, this is the clincher, 25 of you guys on the live, you also get access to a 1-hour session with me once a year. And that's a $250 value. It's half the price of Workers Warehouse membership, just that one session. So if that's something that's that interests you, I can't tell you how many times people will see this QR code on the screen and they're like, I don't necessarily want to be coached live in front of a studio audience. You see what I did there? But I would like to enter into coaching. And one of the options that you can use is the Workers Warehouse membership to do that. That last tier of offerings that we have here at How It All Works is the top one, which is our coaching program. It's a 6-month program, once a month. The frequency is totally up to you in terms of which tier you buy in at, but every coaching client gains access to the warehouse, access to all the resources in the warehouse. So keep that in mind as well. Family, so much to hang out and do. Let me see what we got. Did I miss anybody? Grandma Grows is here, and we're excited that you're here. Fantastic show is what Florence is saying. I think we got Stretford Sue. Stretford Sue says, hey, everybody, really enjoyed the show. I'm glad that you're able to come through and hang out with us today. I know it's afternoon, evening for you there across the pond. But we're just so excited that you get a chance to come through. Stretford Sue is one of the supporters of the channel that I absolutely love, and she's constantly commenting on my morning motivation videos, just encouraging me to keep it going. And I thank you so much for that. You guys have no idea how much I truly appreciate your feedback and your information, your insight, your support of the channel. And for those of you who are like, well, man, I don't really need any of the things that you just mentioned. I don't really want to be in a Workers Warehouse, don't need coaching, not necessarily interested in the masterclass, but I do want to support you for what you're doing. Well, you could just join membership right here on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can just hit that join button, and you can $9 a month. It really goes a long way. Several people have done it. I'm going to be honest with you. When you join membership on YouTube, you still get access to a subset of the Workers Warehouse. But here's the clincher: We share BTS stuff. We share members only live streams and different things that we hope that are of value to you. But we also know that many people who have joined in membership have simply done so because they want to say thank you for the content that we have put out on the channel. I see you out there. Jeremy says, glad I caught you two today. Thank you so much for being with us. I truly appreciate that. Aiden Lou says, great session as always, Kirk. Thank you for being with us today as well. Ian says, glad I was able to join today. Thank you for being with us today. Family, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been really fun. To your boy Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher, thankful for your time and attention today. We don't take any of it for granted. I am going to get gone. I've got a number of things to get done today. It's a Wednesday. It's a busy evening for me for some other things that I have to do. But I want to say this. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your support. I hope that you get the book. I hope that you are able to move the needle, step forward towards your goals. And I hope that we'll see you around these internet streets or in the next video. Later, fam. Make sure you check out one of these videos right here, or make sure you